Yesterday's prophecies, today's headlines. This is the Hal Lindsey Report.
As I have noted before, the city of Damascus remains the oldest continuously inhabited city on the face of the earth. In all its long history, it has never been totally destroyed. Yet Isaiah predicts that in the last days, Damascus will be totally annihilated in a matter of moments. He wrote, "The burden of Damascus. Behold, Damascus is taken away from being a city, and it shall be a ruinous heap. And in that day it shall come to pass that the glory of Jacob shall be made thin, and the fatness of his flesh shall wax lean." Isaiah's depiction of Damascus troubling Israel in the last days comes at a time when the glory of Jacob, or Israel, is made very thin. Speaking in the same terms as this prophecy, if Israel's glory were any thinner, it would be transparent. The only condition under which Israel could survive the world's outrage at hitting Syria with a nuclear attack would be if Syria hit Israel first with weapons of mass destruction, such as biological, chemical, or nuclear weapons. That is exactly the kind of circumstances predicted in Isaiah chapter 17, verse 4. As I noted earlier, Syria has long-range missiles already armed with both chemical and biological warheads aimed straight at Israel. This ISIS report indicates that Assad either has or is developing nuclear warheads for use against Israel as well. Isaiah makes a further prediction about the terrible incident. "And behold, at eventide, trouble, and before the morning, he," meaning Damascus, "is no more. This is the portion of them that spoil us, and the lot of them that rob us." Many experts believe Israel has more than 200 nuclear weapons that could fulfill Isaiah's prophecy in about 60 seconds. The potential of a nuclear-armed Syria pulls Isaiah's prophecy right out of the Bible and plants it on the front pages of the daily newspapers. In the book of Psalms, number 83, is a plea for God's provision over Israel's security. In it, the psalmist identifies and lists Israel's traditional antagonists. He writes, "For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee." In other words, they're not so much against Israel as they are against Israel's God that protects them in this prophecy, in this psalm. The psalmist then identifies these enemies of God as the tents of Edom and the Ishmaelites, Moab and the Hagrites, Gebal, Ammon, and Amalek, Philistia with the inhabitants of Tyre. Assyria also has joined with them. They have helped the children of Lot. Edom is another name for Esau. Along with Ishmael, Esau is one of the principal forefathers of the Arab peoples. The Edomites and the Amalekites are descendants of Esau. The Moabites and Ammonites are the descendants of Lot. Moab is located in the Egyptian Sinai. Biblical Ammon is now central Jordan. The Hagrites are descended through Hagar, the mother of Ishmael, and the Hagrites are all the people that sprung from her. Here's where these ancient people are today. The Hagrites represent modern-day Saudi Arabia, the heart and soul of Islam. Gebal is the city of Jebel in Lebanon. Amalek and the Philistines are the modern place in Gaza, home to Hamas, by the way. And Ashur, today's Syria and Iraq, are to join in helping the children of Lot, which is Lebanon, home to Hezbollah. Syria is supplying and equipping Hezbollah and has styled itself as the protector of Lebanon and the children of Lot. Iraqi cities are racked with demonstrators demanding death to Israel and death to America as Israel's ally. The psalmist also identifies the particular target of the Edomite alliance. It's the choice pasture lands that surround Jerusalem. It is written, "Let us take for ourselves the pastures of God for a possession." So, what is the root cause of the Arab-Israeli war? It's possession of Jerusalem and the Temple Mount. But the goal is not just the conquest of Jerusalem simply as an Arab territorial possession. The goal is the conquest of God's holy mountain and God's holy city for an Islamic religious possession. The events outlined by this psalm are future events, as is the eventual and total destruction of Damascus. The first conflict in a series of wars is predicted in Psalms 83. This appears to be the same war foretold by Isaiah's burden of Damascus in chapter 17. And it is also the same war predicted by the often overlooked prophecy of Obadiah. This war particularly involves the descendants of Esau, which includes all the other Arab states surrounding Israel. However, it carefully excludes the non-Arab Muslim states of Iran and Turkey, and of course Pakistan and other nations around the world. They are included in the confederacy of the Muslim countries led by Persia, which is modern-day Iran, in the second and final attack to destroy Israel. It is predicted in Ezekiel chapters 38 and 39. This massive offensive includes the Persians and Turks that will fight under the command of the power from the uttermost north, which is Russia. But amazingly, this confederacy does not include the Arab Muslim states. Why? You see, they will have already been neutralized by the earlier Psalm 83 war. And even more amazing, Ezekiel names the people of modern Saudi Arabia as non-belligerent against the West and Israel at the time of this second war. Some view Ezekiel's Gog-Magog war and the Psalm 83 war as two distinct events separated by some significant period of time. I believe that's correct, but I also believe that the Bible supports the conclusion that the two events are also separated by the rapture of Christians out of this world. The assumption of an interval between the two wars is necessary because the Gog-Magog war takes place during a time of seeming peace and security within the state of Israel. The war predicted by Psalm 83, Isaiah 17, and Obadiah appears as a decisive battle in the 4,000-year-old intergenerational conflict between the descendants of Esau and Jacob. But the prophecies about the Psalms 83 war indicate that when it is over, so is the Arab threat to Israel. The threats of the Muslim Arab nations in Psalm 83 sound like what we're hearing on TV and radio broadcasts from Damascus, Lebanon, Gaza, Tehran. And what appears to be taking place is the development of both of these enemy alliances simultaneously. Unquestionably, the declared goal of both of these alliances is the annihilation of the state of Israel. Neither the Bible nor Jane's Defense Weekly would give the Arab peoples named in Psalm 83 even a slim chance of surviving intact if Israel launched a retaliatory nuclear strike on their cities. And this very plan already does exist. Its code name is the Samson option. Israel has codified this a long time ago. It's a strategy already planned, prepared, and ready to launch if Israel is clearly in danger of being overrun and destroyed. But I believe what is more likely to happen is this. Syria will launch weapons of mass destruction against Israel, and the other surrounding Arab nations will attack. In retaliation, Israel will launch a nuclear strike on Damascus that will utterly destroy it. Then Israel, facing overwhelming forces on all sides, will strike back with strategic neutron battlefield missiles at the massed armies. Neutron weapons are unique in that they can be built to only destroy life in a pre-calibrated radius, usually a radius of about 1 to 5 miles. This would destroy the bulk of the attacking forces without making the entire region unlivable. The Psalm 83 scenario leaves Israel with that no Arab enemies within immediate striking distance capable of launching another war thereafter. This possible scenario would allow for the unusual existence of Israel described in Ezekiel 38 as a land of unwalled villages. The Israelis would be living in apparent peace and security. Now, though I can't be dogmatic on this interpretation, current events continue to suggest the finer details of the stages of war in the end times that eventually end in the mother of all wars, Armageddon. The important thing is that after such a horrible catastrophe, the world would be so terrified that they will cry out for a leader powerful enough to take over a one-world government and enforce peace. Just such a leader is predicted in Revelation chapter 13, verse 4. And it's at the very same time in history as we're looking at. So they worship the dragon, or Satan, who gave authority to the beast. And they worship the beast, saying, "Who is like the beast? Who is able to make war with him?" The dragon is Satan, and the beast is the Antichrist. It's clear from the exclamation of praise to the Antichrist that the terrified world sees the Antichrist as the deliverer from the horrible war they have just witnessed in the destruction of Damascus. I'll be back in just a moment.